The year is 1958. A sleek aerodynamic tractor rolls out of a factory in Stuttgart, Germany. It looks like it belongs on a racetrack, not a farm field. Its revolutionary air-cooled diesel engine hums with precision engineering that would make Porsche engineers jealous. Farmers line up for months just to get their hands on one. Fast forward to today, and most people have never even heard of it. This is the story of the Porsche Diesel Master 4, and it's just one of 10 incredible European tractors that pushed the boundaries of engineering, only to fade into obscurity while less innovative machines became household names. Number 10. The Lanz Bulldog HL. Let's start with a machine that defined German agricultural engineering for nearly 4 decades. The Lanz Bulldog wasn't just a tractor. It was a phenomenon that farmers called the diesel that runs on anything. At the heart of this beast was a single-cylinder, 2-stroke hot bulb engine. Picture this: one massive cylinder producing all the power, running so slowly you could count each compression stroke. Some models ran at just 504. That's 9 revolutions per second. Modern tractors run at 10 times that speed. But here's where the Lanz got brilliant. That hot bulb ignition system meant you could fuel it with crude oil, waste oil, vegetable oil, or even old engine oil mixed with diesel. During World War II and the post-war fuel shortages, when gasoline and refined diesel were almost impossible to find, Lanz Bulldogs kept European farms running on whatever combustible liquid farmers could scrounge up. The engineering was deceptively simple. The hot bulb, a chamber connected to the cylinder, was preheated with a blowtorch for a few minutes. Once hot enough, you injected fuel, and the heat alone caused ignition. No spark plugs, no complex electrical systems, no temperamental carburetors, just raw thermodynamic efficiency. Over 220,000 Lanz Bulldogs were produced, making it one of the most successful European tractors ever built. Yet mention Lanz today, and most people draw a blank. The company was absorbed by John Deere in 1956, and the Bulldog was gradually phased out in favor of more conventional designs. Number 9. The Porsche Diesel Master 419. Yes, that Porsche. Before the 911 became an icon, Ferdinand Porsche's company was engineering agricultural machinery that brought sports car thinking to the farm. The Master 419 featured something no tractor had before: a sophisticated air-cooled diesel engine with Porsche's signature horizontal cylinder layout. While other manufacturers were bolting heavy, water-cooled engines into their tractors, Porsche engineers were obsessing over weight distribution, cooling efficiency, and power-to-weight ratios. The result was a tractor that weighed significantly less than competitors while delivering comparable power. The air-cooled system eliminated radiators, water pumps, and the risk of freezing in winter, a huge advantage in alpine regions. But the real engineering masterpiece was the transmission. Porsche developed a synchronized gearbox for the Master 419 that gave farmers unprecedented control. Smooth gear changes without grinding, something taken for granted in cars but revolutionary in tractors of the era. The styling was unmistakably Porsche. Curved bodywork, attention to aerodynamics even at tractor speeds, and that distinctive sloping hood. It looked like nothing else in the fields. So why did it fail? Price. A Porsche tractor cost nearly double what a conventional tractor did. Farmers admired the engineering but couldn't justify the expense. Production ended in 1963, and Porsche exited the agricultural market entirely, leaving behind fewer than 125,000 units and a legacy of over-engineering brilliance. Number 8. The Renault 3451. While American manufacturers were obsessed with horsepower wars, French engineers at Renault were quietly revolutionizing tractor ergonomics and operator comfort. The 3451 introduced something radical: the concept that farmers deserved to be comfortable. Revolutionary, right? But in 1951, most tractors had steel seats, exposed controls, and vibration that could loosen your teeth. Renault's engineers developed a suspended operator platform that isolated the driver from engine vibration. They added a proper sprung seat with adjustable positioning. The control layout was redesigned using early human factors engineering. Everything positioned where hands naturally fell, reducing operator fatigue during 12-hour workdays. The engine was a 4-cylinder diesel with indirect injection. providing smoother power delivery than the typical direct injection thumpers of the era. At 34 horsepower, it wasn't the most powerful tractor available, but it was one of the most refined. The 3451 also featured Renault's innovative differential lock system, which could be engaged and disengaged on the fly, a significant advancement when most tractors required you to stop completely to engage four-wheel drive or lock differentials. Despite these innovations, the 3451 remained largely a French phenomenon. Export efforts were limited, and as Renault gradually exited the agricultural market to focus on automobiles, these tractors became footnotes in engineering history. Number 7. The Steyr 80. From the Austrian Alps came a tractor designed specifically for mountain farming, where slopes can reach 40 degrees and a rollover means certain death. Steyr engineers tackled a problem most manufacturers ignored: stability on extreme inclines. The Steyr 80 featured an unusually low center of gravity achieved through engine placement and chassis design. The transmission was mounted directly beneath the operator, with the engine positioned forward and low. But the real innovation was the braking system. Steyr developed individual wheel brakes that could be precisely controlled, allowing operators to brake one rear wheel while maintaining power to the other. This enabled tight turns on slopes where a conventional tractor would simply slide sideways. The Steyr 80 also pioneered a hydraulic system that was pressure compensated, maintaining consistent implement control regardless of engine RPM or load. This meant attachments worked predictably even on varying terrain, crucial when plowing a mountainside where inconsistent depth control could mean disaster. The diesel engine was a direct injection design, producing 15 horsepower, modest but with a torque curve optimized for low RPM lugging power. This tractor could pull steadily at speeds that would stall most other machines. Over 56,000 Steyr 80s were produced, yet outside alpine regions they're virtually unknown. The specialized engineering that made them perfect for mountains made them overbuilt and expensive for flat farmland, limiting their market appeal. Number 6. The Fiat 25R. Italian design isn't just about fashion and sports cars. The Fiat 25R brought elegance and innovative engineering to post-war agriculture. This tractor featured one of the first successful implementations of a reversible driving position. The entire seat and control assembly could be rotated 180 degrees, allowing the operator to drive backward with the same comfort and visibility as driving forward. Why does this matter? Certain implements work better in reverse, and having proper ergonomics for both directions was transformative for operators doing repetitive tasks. Fiat's engineers also developed a unique PTO system with two speeds, 540 and 1000 RPM, selectable through a simple lever. This dual-speed system became the industry standard, but Fiat was among the first to implement it successfully. The 25R's diesel engine used a pre-combustion chamber design that Fiat refined for exceptional fuel efficiency. In independent tests, it consumed nearly 15% less fuel than comparable tractors, while maintaining similar power output. The styling was distinctly Italian: smooth curves, integrated bodywork, and attention to visual proportions. It looked modern even decades after production. Despite producing over 40,000 units, the 25R never achieved the international recognition it deserved, overshadowed by Fiat's more conventional models and by the company's eventual merger into CNH Industrial. Number 5. The Valmet 33. Finnish engineering is about surviving in extreme conditions, and the Valmet 33 was designed for farming in one of Europe's harshest climates. This tractor featured comprehensive cold weather engineering. The diesel engine had an integrated preheating system for both the coolant and the intake air, allowing reliable starting in temperatures down to -30 degrees Celsius. The fuel system used heated fuel lines to prevent waxing, and the hydraulic fluid reservoir was insulated and positioned near the engine for warmth. Valmet developed a unique direct injection diesel engine that used two-stage compression for improved cold starting and fuel efficiency. This engine design was ahead of its time, anticipating principles that wouldn't become mainstream for another 2 decades. The transmission featured a wet clutch system that remained functional in extreme cold when conventional dry clutches would freeze or refuse to disengage smoothly. But perhaps the most ingenious feature was the modular design philosophy. components were designed for easy field replacement, using minimal tools, critical when the nearest dealer might be 200 kilometers away across frozen roads. The Valmet 33 also incorporated all-wheel drive as an option from the start, unusual for a small tractor in this era. The system used a transfer case with a 60-40 power split, providing excellent traction without the efficiency losses of a locked system. Despite being perfectly engineered for Nordic conditions, the Valmet 33 remained largely unknown outside Scandinavia. Limited export efforts and language barriers kept this masterpiece hidden from the wider agricultural world. Number 4. The David Brown 950 Implemented. British precision engineering created what many consider the most refined tractor of the 1960s. The 950 Implementic featured David Brown's revolutionary hydraulic system that automatically maintained implement depth and draft force regardless of soil conditions. Sensors monitored resistance and the hydraulic system adjusted implement position in real time. This semi-autonomous system improved plowing consistency and reduced operator fatigue dramatically. The engine was a 4-cylinder diesel with indirect injection, producing 45 horsepower with exceptional refinement. David Brown's engineers used careful balancing and precision manufacturing to create one of the smoothest running diesel engines of the era. The transmission offered 12 forward speeds with a synchronized gearbox, a feature borrowed from automotive engineering that made the 950 a pleasure to operate. Gear changes were smooth and precise, without the grinding and clashing typical of tractor transmissions. David Brown also pioneered the use of automotive-style disc brakes on tractors with the 950, providing consistent, fade-resistant stopping power that made the machine safer, especially when pulling heavy loads on roads. The styling was elegant and purposeful with David Brown's signature chocolate and cream livery. Everything about this tractor communicated quality and refinement. Despite these innovations, the David Brown brand never achieved the global recognition of rivals like Ford or Massey Ferguson. The company was eventually absorbed into Case in the 1970s, and the 950 Implementic faded from memory. Number 3. The Lamborghini 1R. Before the Countach and the Miura, Ferruccio Lamborghini built tractors, and the 1R represented his obsession with solving a fundamental diesel engine problem. Lamborghini developed a proprietary fuel injection system that provided exceptional atomization and combustion efficiency. The result was an engine that produced more power per liter than virtually any competitor while running cleaner and more economically. The 1R used a 3-cylinder diesel producing 25 horsepower, but it was the way it produced that power that impressed engineers. The torque curve was remarkably flat, providing consistent pulling power across the entire RPM range. This made the tractor incredibly versatile, equally at home lugging at low speeds or running belt-driven equipment at higher RPMs. Lamborghini also engineered an advanced clutch system, using multiple friction plates running in oil, essentially a wet clutch that could handle tremendous torque while providing smooth engagement. This system was virtually maintenance-free, lasting the lifetime of the tractor in most cases. The chassis design incorporated aircraft-style stressed skin construction, where the bodywork contributed to structural rigidity while minimizing weight. This made the 1R lighter than competitors while maintaining exceptional strength. The hydraulic system used a high-pressure pump design that was decades ahead of its time, providing rapid implement response and the ability to operate multiple functions simultaneously without power loss. Ironically, the success of Lamborghini tractors funded Ferruccio's sports car venture. But while Lamborghini supercars became legendary, the tractors that started it all are largely forgotten, even though they pioneered engineering solutions that are standard practice today. Number 2. The Zetor 25K. From behind the Iron Curtain came a tractor that proved communist engineers could match or exceed Western innovation. The Zetor 25K was designed under constraints that bred brilliance. With limited access to exotic materials and advanced manufacturing equipment, Czech engineers focused on fundamental principles of mechanical efficiency and durability. The result was a tractor built like a military vehicle. The frame was massively overbuilt. The transmission gears were twice as thick as necessary, and every bearing was oversized. This wasn't waste, it was engineering for a 100-year service life. The engine was a 2-cylinder air-cooled diesel that could run for 20,000 hours between rebuilds. That's over 800 days of continuous operation. The cooling system used forced air with a precisely calculated fin design that maintained optimal operating temperature across ambient conditions from -20 to +40 degrees Celsius. Zator developed a unique transmission with reduction gears that provided exceptional torque multiplication, allowing this relatively small tractor to pull loads typically requiring much larger machines. The hydraulic system was simple but ingenious, using a gear pump and relief valve system that was nearly impossible to damage through operator error or contamination. It would work with any fluid remotely resembling hydraulic oil. The 25K also featured full mechanical fuel injection requiring no electricity. The entire tractor could operate without a battery. This made it ideal for remote areas and for operators who valued ultimate reliability over convenience. Despite exporting hundreds of thousands of units worldwide, the Zator brand never achieved prestige in Western markets. Prejudice against Eastern Bloc manufacturing obscured the reality that these were some of the most robustly engineered tractors ever built. Number 1. The Massey Ferguson MF35 Multi-Power. Our number one forgotten masterpiece is technically not forgotten by enthusiasts, but its revolutionary engineering is rarely appreciated by the wider world. The MF35 Multi-Power introduced something no tractor had before: a 2-speed auxiliary transmission that could be shifted on the fly, under load, without using the clutch. This effectively doubled the number of gears available, providing the perfect ratio for any condition. The engineering challenge was immense. Creating a planetary gear system that could handle full torque while being shifted by the operator was difficult in an automotive application and seemingly impossible in an agricultural one where shock loads and abusive operation was standard. Massey Ferguson's solution used a multi-plate clutch pack with hydraulic actuation controlled by a simple lever. The system was so robust and smooth that operators could shift between ranges mid-furrow without interrupting work. The standard 23 diesel engine was a 3-cylinder indirect injection design, producing 37 horsepower with exceptional fuel economy. But the real innovation was the starting system, a small gasoline engine that turned the diesel over and provided preliminary heating. This allowed reliable cold starting that direct injection diesels of the era couldn't match. The hydraulic system featured Ferguson's position control and draft control working in tandem, allowing operators to choose between maintaining implement position or maintaining consistent draft force. This dual-mode system gave unprecedented control over implement operation. The MF35 sold over 500,000 units worldwide, but its engineering significance has been overshadowed by its commercial success. People remember it as a popular tractor, but forget that it introduced technologies that are fundamental to modern tractor design. So that's it for today. If you liked this video, then please hit the like and subscribe button for more videos. Thanks for watching.